Ty's son, King Harris, was arrested this past weekend. But what happened during his time in custody is what's really shocking people right now. According to footage circulating online, Ty showed up to visit his son, and things reportedly got very intense between them. Some are saying he harshly confronted him, and the moment was allegedly caught on camera. The clip has been spreading everywhere, and people can't stop talking about it. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened, what was said, and why this situation is getting so much attention. You're not ready for this. Early Sunday morning, around 1 a.m., King Harris was pulled over by Gwinnett County Police after officers clocked him driving 60 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone. That alone would be a routine traffic stop for most people. But what made this one different is what happened next. When officers approached the vehicle, they reportedly noticed a firearm inside and ordered Harris to exit the car. According to multiple reports, Harris refused to comply with the order, resulting in his arrest for obstruction. Officers then conducted a search. What they found was a vape pen containing 10 milligrams of THC. Now, here's where the story takes on a life of its own. King Harris was wearing a full-body Pikachu onesie when he was taken into custody. A grown man, 21 years old, the son of one of the most well-known rappers in the history of Atlanta, getting handcuffed in a Pokémon costume in the middle of the night. That image alone was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. TMZ broke the story and it spread across every major outlet within hours. According to jail records obtained by Complex, King was booked on a felony charge for possession of a controlled substance and a misdemeanor charge of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. And he was also hit with 2 traffic citations, one for speeding and one for a seatbelt violation. That is 4 separate charges from a single traffic stop. But King Harris didn't exactly seem shaken by the situation. Far from it. Rather than keeping a low profile, Harris documented the entire incident on his Instagram stories, sharing selfies in his Pokémon outfit and mocking the situation. He compared the police to Team Rocket, the villains from Pokémon. On his Instagram, he wrote about living a good Pikachu life in Tokyo and then coming back to ATL and Team Rocket. Et Pikachu is free. FK Team Rocket. The jokes were flowing. The memes were multiplying, and the mugshot, the image of King Harris in a bright yellow Pikachu costume standing in front of a booking camera, became one of the most shared images on social media overnight. Harris was released from custody after posting bond following the weekend incident. But what made this story grow even bigger than the arrest itself was the footage that surfaced afterward. Clips of T.I. arriving to see his son during his detention began circulating across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The reaction was massive. People dissected every frame. T's body language, his expression, the weight of a father watching his child go through this publicly again. And the reason the footage hit so hard for so many people is because this is not King Harris's first encounter with law enforcement. It's not even his second. This is a pattern that has been building for years. To understand why this latest arrest carries so much weight, you have to look at the full timeline of King Harris's legal troubles, because the list is not short. Back in 2022, when King was still a teenager, he had his first widely publicized run-in with law enforcement. He was arrested for not wearing a seatbelt in his car. During that stop, a female voice was heard on video explaining the charges to him, telling the young artist he had 4 counts against him with the arrest. Even back then, King treated the situation with a level of defiance that became a hallmark of his public persona. In another clip, he laughed about the arrest and said, "The king is back, bro. I am back. I'm free." That same incident led to charges involving speeding, driving with a suspended license, and operating under the influence of drugs. When King failed to show up for court, a bench warrant was issued for his arrest. That warrant sat dormant for a while until October 2024. That month, King Harris was accused of nearly hitting a police officer at a Dunwee gas station, and was taken into custody after an officer smelled marijuana in his car. Body camera footage from that October 2024 arrest later surfaced online, giving the public a close look at how the interaction unfolded. According to reports, the arrest occurred after Harris allegedly nearly collided with a police cruiser. While leaving a gas station in his BMW, officers initiated a stop and immediately noticed the smell of marijuana coming from the vehicle. They also observed a firearm holstered on Harris's hip. When officers ran his information, police discovered Harris had an outstanding warrant for failure to appear in court. Here's the thing. The arresting officer's report from that 2024 incident described a relatively cooperative arrest. The officer stated, "Mr. Harris was cooperative, and I removed the firearm from his hip with no issue." He was initially booked into the DeKalb County Jail before being transferred to Pickens County authorities due to the outstanding warrant. Eventually, those Pickens County charges were officially dropped in August 2025. A clean slate of sorts, a chance to move forward, but that window of peace would be remarkably short-lived between the dropped charges and the most recent Gwinnett County arrest. Barely 8 months had passed. Meanwhile, during that period, King's personal life was moving in a completely different direction. He welcomed a baby boy into the world. He announced the birth on Instagram, writing, "Number 5809 AM. M. Welcome, King Jr. Time to take over." His mother, Tiny Harris, had been overjoyed. Months before the baby arrived, King and the mother of his child, Jay Neger, celebrated their pregnancy with a baby shower, surrounded by family and friends. Tiny shared photos of the event, writing, "My baby King is having a baby. I'm too geeked about my grandson coming." So, here is a young man who had just become a father, whose family was celebrating new life, whose previous charges had been wiped away. And yet, just months later, he's back in a police car. This time in a Pikachu costume with a felony charge on the books. The juxtaposition is striking, and it's the reason why the footage of Ty visiting him during this latest detention resonated so powerfully with millions of people to grasp the full weight of what Ty must have been feeling in that footage. You have to understand the world King Harris grew up in and the expectations that world carries. Growing up in the spotlight on T-Tiny, the family hustle, King is no stranger to public attention. Cameras have followed his family since he was a child. Every milestone, every conflict, every moment of growth and regression, all of it was filmed, edited, broadcast, and consumed by millions. Most children of that age are making mistakes in private. King Harris never had that luxury. Ty, born Clifford Joseph Harris, Jr. is one of the most consequential figures in Southern hip-hop history. He helped pioneer trap music. He built an empire through Grand Hustle Records. He starred in films. He wrote books. But T's story is also marked by his own deeply complicated relationship with the law. He was arrested on federal weapons charges in 2007, served time in federal prison, was released, then violated his probation, and went back behind bars. He knows the system from the inside. He knows how it breaks people. He knows how it separates families. And he has been vocal many times on camera about his fear that his son could be headed down the same path. That fear has been documented extensively. Ty has expressed deep concern over his son King's reckless behavior, fearing it may lead to prison. That concern has played out publicly in interviews on social media and within the fabric of the family's reality TV presence. Ty has positioned himself as someone who turned his life around after prison, someone who learned from the consequences and has spent years trying to steer his children away from the traps he fell into. When the Waffle House incident went viral earlier this year, T stepped in publicly. His dad responded to the footage via Instagram, asking why the Waffle House dispute was even newsworthy. That response carried frustration, not just at the media cycle, but at the reality that his son's behavior was making headlines for the wrong reasons consistently. Ty had also celebrated King's high school graduation with honors, posting his pride publicly. the tension between the son who graduates with honors and the son who keeps ending up in handcuffs. That tension is the essence of this entire story, and that tension is precisely what made the detention footage so compelling. Here is a father who has been through the system himself, who knows the stakes, watching history threaten to repeat through his own child. The footage didn't go viral because of celebrity gossip. It went viral because people recognized the universal anguish of a parent watching their child spiral, amplified by the public stage the Harris family occupies. One of the most notable aspects of King Harris's public life is that he has never shied away from sharing his own perspective, even when that perspective works against him. King Harris recently stopped by the morning hustle, bringing his unapologetic energy to the studio to clear the air. During that appearance, he spoke at length about his relationship with fame. With the public's perception of him, and with the incidents that have kept his name in the headlines on the subject of his viral Waffle House confrontation, Harris confirmed suspicions that his complaint was over getting pickles. After explicitly saying he did not want them, he said he asked the staff member to remake the order but was met with attitude. He recounted the exchange, saying the worker had an attitude and threw it on the ground, like I ain't making this. When the incident was taken to Instagram Live, King and the Waffle House employees had escalated to the point where he proposed taking their issue outside. King also addressed his feud with 50 Cent during that same interview. Harris spoke about his decision to bring up the entertainment mogul's late mother by wearing a shirt with her face on it. His justification was direct. He felt 50 Cent had gone after his mother first, and he was responding in kind. That kind of retaliatory energy has defined King's public identity. He doesn't back down. He doesn't apologize. He doubles down. However, he quickly pointed out the difference between curated reality television and his everyday life. For King, the viral moments that keep him in the headlines aren't calculated stunts. They are just raw, real-life situations caught on camera. He explained that reality TV showed viewers a controlled image, but his online presence shows exactly who he is when the official cameras stop rolling. This is the paradox of King Harris. He wants authenticity. He insists on living without a filter. But that same unfiltered existence keeps landing him in courtrooms and jail cells. He wants the community to know that his passionate energy is not a gimmick. It is his genuine truth. The problem is that truth now includes a felony charge for drug possession, a misdemeanor charge for obstruction, and a digital trail of Instagram posts joking about the whole thing while dressed as a Pokémon character. After this latest arrest, King wasted no time posting on social media. Shortly after details of the arrest emerged, Harris took to social media with a post containing profanity directed at the police, along with provocative remarks aimed at an officer's family. It remains uncertain whether his online comments will lead to further legal consequences. The posts were met with a mixed reaction online. Some fans praised his refusal to be rattled. Others pointed out that laughing at a felony arrest on social media is exactly the kind of behavior that turns a bad situation into a catastrophic one. The moment that stands out most, though, is the contrast between King's cavalier social media reaction and the footage of his father arriving at the facility. One man treating this as a joke, the other man visibly burdened by the weight of it. That visual, played side by side across dozens of commentary channels, is what turned this from a standard celebrity arrest story into something that resonated emotionally with people far beyond the hip-hop community. So where does this leave King Harris, and where does it leave his family? King Harris now faces multiple charges that could have long-lasting effects as the case proceeds through the legal system. The felony possession charge is the most serious of the lot. In the state of Georgia, possession of a controlled substance classified as Schedule II can carry significant penalties, including prison time. The misdemeanor obstruction charge adds to the picture of someone who is not cooperating with law enforcement, a detail prosecutors could lean on heavily if the case goes to trial. No formal statement has been issued by Harris or his representatives regarding this specific arrest. The matter remains pending as authorities continue proceedings. His parents, Ty and Tiny Harris, have not yet released a public statement regarding the Sunday morning arrest. That silence from Ty and Tiny is worth noting. In past situations, both have addressed their son's controversies publicly. Ty through Instagram, and Tiny through celebratory posts about King's personal milestones that seem designed to reframe the narrative. But this time, as of now, there is no statement, no Instagram post, just the footage T.I. showing up present but quiet. The silence itself has been interpreted by many online commentators as an indication that the family recognizes the gravity of this moment in a way they perhaps didn't before. This incident marks another significant moment in the young artist's life as he strives to establish his own identity amid the public eye due to his famous family background. King has said repeatedly that he wants to be known for his own work, his music, his brand, his identity separate from his parents, but the headlines keep pulling him back into a narrative defined not by artistic achievement, but by legal trouble. Harris is 21 years old and has accumulated a troubling legal record despite his famous parents. Now, consider the timeline once more. 2022, arrested, charged with speeding, driving with a suspended license, DUI, failed to appear in court, bench warrant issued. 2024, arrested and Dunwoody after nearly hitting a police cruiser. Outstanding warrant discovered. Booked into DeKalb County Jail. Transferred to Pickens County. August 2025, Pickens County charges dropped. November 2025, welcomes a baby boy. April 2026, arrested in Gwinnett County, felony drug possession, obstruction, speeding, seatbelt violation, all while wearing a Pikachu costume. Each arrest has been more public than the last. Each one has come with more social media spectacle. And each one has taken place against the backdrop of a father who served federal time himself and has publicly begged his son to change course. The footage of T visiting King during this detention went viral, not because it revealed something new. It went viral because it confirmed what everyone watching this family has feared for years: that the cycle is continuing and that the distance between a misdemeanor traffic stop and serious life-altering prison time is narrowing with every incident. Law enforcement officials have not issued any public response regarding the social media statements, but the court of public opinion is already in full session. Whether King Harris takes this moment as a wake-up call or treats it like just another Pikachu adventure remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the stakes are no longer theoretical. They are real.